Okay, so you're curious about this whole Tesla robotaxi thing, right?
Yeah.
The big reveal is happening today, and, well, there's a ton of buzz out there naturally, but also some skepticism, as usual. I guess you could say Musk is known for setting the bar pretty high.
To say the least.
Yeah, exactly. But hype aside, we're actually diving into some really interesting stuff today. Predictions from financial analysts, whispers from China's EV scene, even some unexpected sci-fi connections. It's going to be a wild ride.
It certainly seems that way. And you know what I find fascinating? It's not just about whether Tesla can actually pull this off. This launch gives us a glimpse into something much bigger. The future of autonomous vehicles, global competition, and how Musk sees AI shaping our world.
It's like we're witnessing a turning point. And we're recording this on October 10th, 2024, the very day Elon Musk is set to unveil the cybercab robotaxi at this event in Los Angeles called We, Robot, catchy title, right?
Very deliberate, I'd say. Almost impossible not to think of Isaac Asimov's I, Robot stories. Those explored a future where robots were just everywhere, a normal part of life.
Whoa, so you're saying there's more to this Tesla launch than just cars? Like Musk is hinting at a bigger vision.
It's certainly possible Musk has always been ambitious, pushing the boundaries of what technology can do. And remember, we're not just talking about the cybercab today. There's also supposed to be news on a new, affordable Tesla model, an autonomous passenger van, even updates on his Optimus humanoid robot project.
It's almost like he's not just unveiling a car, but a whole ecosystem of interconnected tech, all powered by AI.
Exactly.
But okay, let's bring it back to the start of the show for now. The cybercab. What are people expecting to see? What's the word on the street?
Well, Gene Munster, the Fast Money analyst, he's actually on his way to the event right now, and he's predicting a greater than 90% chance that people will get to test ride the cybercab today.
Wow, a test ride on launch day. That's bold, even for Musk. Though Tesla's not exactly new to autonomous driving demos, are they? Didn't they have a Model 3 driving itself on Highway 101 a while back?
They did back in 2018, but that was 6 years ago. A lot has changed in the world of AI and autonomous vehicles since then. This time, the stakes are much higher.
That's true. And while a live demo would be impressive, Musk does have a bit of a reputation for, well, let's just say ambitious timelines. Our sources point out he's made over 20 predictions about fully autonomous vehicles in the past decade.
Right, and to be fair to your point, those haven't exactly come to fruition. Munster, while optimistic about the demo, is predicting a more realistic timeline for a full public rollout. He's saying late 2025, starting in select cities.
That does sound a lot more grounded, doesn't it? And this phase rollout would be a departure from Tesla's usual nationwide release strategy. Makes you wonder if they're acknowledging just how complex it is to bring a truly autonomous vehicle to market.
It's certainly possible. A phased rollout lets them do more controlled testing, gather data, and make improvements based on how the car performs in the real world. It also buys them time to navigate the regulatory hurdles that inevitably come with self-driving technology.
Speaking of regulations, that makes me think about Tesla's push into the Chinese market,
Ah, yes.
where the robotaxi scene is already light years ahead. I was reading that companies like Pony.ai have been road testing robotaxis over there for over 6 years.
That's right. And that's what makes this whole story even more interesting. Tesla's making waves here, but in China, they're dealing with a whole different ballgame.
So Tesla's entering a market where robotaxis are practically old news. What does that mean for their strategy? Are they behind?
It's not so much about being behind, but more about adapting to a different playing field. See, Tesla's full self-driving platform, or FSD, relies a lot on cameras and artificial intelligence. It's cutting edge, but it's also caused some debate about whether it's safe and reliable.
Right. We've all seen the headlines about Tesla's autopilot system. Some praise, some criticism. So how does that compare to what China's doing with their robotaxi tech?
That's where things get really interesting. Chinese companies like Pony.ai have taken a slightly different approach. They often use a wider range of sensors, including LiDAR, which uses lasers to create a 3D map of the environment.
Okay, so more sensors in the mix. Does that mean their technology is automatically safer than Tesla's FSD?
It's not that simple. Each approach has its own strengths and weaknesses. LiDAR, for example, is great for creating detailed maps, but it can get confused by heavy rain or snow. Tesla's camera-based system relies on AI to interpret what it sees, which means it needs tons of data to learn and adapt.
Sounds like a classic trade-off, different technologies with their own pros and cons. So how does this all play out when Tesla enters the Chinese market? Are they sticking with their FSD system as is or adapting for this new landscape? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How does Tesla approach a market that's already so far ahead?
Well, from what I've read, they actually got preliminary approval for their FSD technology in China earlier this year. But here's the kicker. Chinese companies don't seem too worried. In fact, they seem almost happy about it. It might sound strange, right? But they see Tesla coming in as a good thing, like a catalyst. Think about it. The more companies working on robotaxis, the faster the technology develops, and maybe even more importantly, the more people get used to the idea of autonomous vehicles.
So it's like everyone wins. They're hoping Tesla will make robotaxis normal for the average Chinese consumer.
Exactly. It's about changing how people see robotaxis, not as some futuristic fantasy, but as a real way to get around. And let's be real, Tesla knows how to build hype and get people excited about new tech.
That's for sure. But hype only gets you so far. Let's talk about the actual car for a second. What will the Cybercab look like? Another sleek, futuristic Tesla design.
Rumors suggest they're going for practical, but with that classic Tesla wow factor. 2 front seats for passenger comfort and get this gulling doors for easy entry and exit.
Hold on, gulling doors. You mean like a DeLorean? That's a pretty bold move for a taxi. Imagine trying to hail a ride in the city and these futuristic doors swing open. It's definitely a statement. But you're right, practicality is key. It doesn't matter how cool the car looks if people don't feel safe getting in.
Absolutely. And that's where Tesla's track record with autopilot matters. They'll need to prove that the Cybercab's autonomous system isn't just innovative, but incredibly safe and reliable.
No pressure. Right. There's a lot riding on this for Tesla.
Yeah.
But Munster seems to think the Cybercab could be a huge financial win for them. He estimated it could make up 20% of their total profits down the line.
It's a big prediction, no doubt, but it makes sense. Without having to pay human drivers, Tesla could undercut companies like Uber and still make a hefty profit. Imagine offering rides at a 20% discount and still taking a 15% cut for yourself.
Now, that's a competitive edge. But let's not forget the upfront costs. Developing and actually putting a fleet of robotaxis on the road has to be incredibly expensive. Then there's the ongoing maintenance and data management. It's a gamble for sure.
A gamble, yes. But as our sources point out, the potential payoff is enormous. If Tesla can figure out how to make robotaxis safe, reliable, and profitable, they could completely change transportation, not just in the US, but globally.
It's like we're on the verge of something huge. This isn't just about a new car. It's about rethinking how we move around our cities, how we interact with technology, even the future of work.
You hit the nail on the head. If it works, the robotaxi revolution will have ripple effects way beyond the auto industry. It brings up questions about job displacement, urban planning, even the ethical side of artificial intelligence.
It's a lot to process, and it's all happening right now. This event today, it feels like just the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about a potential paradigm shift in transportation, and like any big change, it'll bring a whole new set of challenges and opportunities. Will people embrace robotaxis? How will cities change their infrastructure for autonomous vehicles? These are questions we'll be asking for years to come.
This deep dive has definitely given me some things to think about. What about you? What stood out to you the most?
For me, it's the sheer complexity of it all. We have all these technological advancements happening at the same time, geopolitical maneuvering, shifting social attitudes, all circling around this idea of a driverless future. It's fascinating, to be honest. Maybe even a little overwhelming.
Overwhelming, for sure, but also incredibly exciting. It's like we're living in a sci-fi novel, except it's real life.
You know, that reminds me, we were talking about the event being named after Asimov's I, robot.
Right. You think there's more to that connection than meets the eye.
Well, Asimov's stories weren't just about cool robots. They were about the relationship between humans and machines. They explored the ethical dilemmas, the unintended consequences of technology.
And those are definitely themes that resonate today with AI getting more and more advanced.
Yeah.
Are you saying Musk might be using this event to address those concerns directly?
It's possible he's not exactly known for being subtle. Or maybe he wants the public to start asking those tough questions ourselves.
You know, it really is like we're living in a sci-fi movie, driverless cars, AI making decisions about our physical world, a future where robots are just part of everyday life. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is, and like you said, it's not just sci-fi anymore. It's becoming our reality. And those stories, those often served as warnings, too. They showed us what could happen if we let technology advance without considering the consequences.
Oh, totally. And the ethical questions that come up, we're talking about AI that's controlling a car, something that could potentially harm people. The stakes are incredibly high.
They are. And I think that sometimes gets lost in all the excitement of a big product launch. It's easy to get caught up in the wow factor, but we can't forget the bigger picture. How do we make sure these technologies are developed and used responsibly?
That's a huge question. And it goes way beyond just Tesla or robotaxis. We're talking about the future of transportation, the future of work, even how humans and machines will coexist. It's a lot to wrap our heads around.
It really is. And honestly, I don't envy the people who have to make decisions about these things right now. The policymakers, the regulators, there are no easy answers. Do we prioritize innovation no matter what? Or do we slow down and really think about the potential downsides?
It's a tough balance, isn't it?
Mhm.
We have this chance to revolutionize transportation, make it safer, more efficient, more accessible. But then there's the impact on jobs, the potential for bias in algorithms, the whole ethical question of letting machines make decisions for us.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think it's so important to have these conversations now. We need to look at this from every angle, hear different viewpoints, challenge what we think we know.
And maybe that's the good that comes out of all of this. This isn't just about Tesla releasing a new car. It's a wake-up call for society, a moment for us to decide what kind of future we want to build.
I couldn't agree more. We have this incredible opportunity to shape how these technologies develop, but it takes real engagement, open and honest conversations, and a willingness to ask the hard questions.
Well, you've definitely given us a lot to think about today. From the nuts and bolts of how robotaxis work to the broader impact of AI, this deep dive has been quite a journey.
It has, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning. This conversation is going to keep going and evolving in the months and years to come.
And hopefully conversations like this one can give people the information and the different perspectives they need to navigate this new world that's changing so rapidly. If you could leave our listeners with one last thought, one thing for them to really chew on, what would it be?
That's a great question. I think I'd encourage everyone listening to look beyond the headlines and the hype. This isn't about the next shiny new gadget. It's about the kind of world we want to live in. So when you read about Tesla's latest move or see a driverless car on the street, ask yourself, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for all of us? And what role do I want to play in shaping this future?
What a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It's been a really thought-provoking conversation, and we hope it sparks some important questions for our listeners. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep learning.